right, welcome to another episode of Piecing It Together, the podcast where we take a look at a new movie and try to figure out what movies inspired it. But today on the show, it's not going to be that. It's not even going to be an episode of Piecing It Together. What it is I'm going to repost a conversation I had over on LA Podfidential with multiple-time Piecing It Together guest co-host Chauncey Telese, talking about our most anticipated movies of fall 2023. It's been a weird year, and it's going to continue to be a weird year with the strikes going on and everything, and really, it's so hard to say what we're looking forward to because we don't even know what's really going to come out. But we had a fun conversation talking about, the things that are on the release schedule and that we are looking forward to and that hopefully we'll get to see. And hopefully those strikes come to some good conclusions as things continue forward. But yeah, that's what we're going to play today is this episode of LA Podfidential. So make sure you're subscribed to LA Podfidential. And while you're at it, make sure you're subscribed to Piecing It Together. And you can follow us on social media at Piecing Pod and join our Facebook group, Popcorn and Puzzle Pieces, where we continue the conversation about all the movies we talk about here on the show, and I'm sure we'll be talking about a lot of these movies during the rest of 2023. All right, let's get to this conversation.
Welcome back to a very special episode of LA Podfidential. My name is Chauncey Telese, and I read about the preseason struggling Rams for LFBnetwork.com. It is a wonderful website. Check out all our wonderful preseason content. Today is our biannual tradition where I am joined by Piecing It Together's Dave Rosen to break down our most anticipated movies for the second half of 2023. Dave, how are you doing?
I am great, and I am hopefully going to get excited about some movies.
Yeah, honestly, with the strikes going on and the studio's not willing to pay, we saw Dune 2 move, so I'm like, oh my god, what are we going to do with this list? But, when you're kind of looking around it, there's actually still a lot of stuff to be excited about. A lot of big filmmakers still have movies to put out, some of which we haven't seen a movie from them in a long, long time.
Yeah.
We have a couple big commercial plays that, if things break right, could be really good, and there's still plenty of on the horizon. Isn't all just Barbenheimer and then falling off a cliff?
Yeah. We've got a few potential Barbenheimer weekends coming up, but I don't know if any of them will be quite that big. But
no, Saw Patrol isn't happening.
Yeah, I don't think so. Not quite. But yeah, the strike will loom over the rest of the year for sure, and it's like, I don't know. It's hard to say with any degree of certainty that things are going to stay where they are. But I mean, like you said, it's kind of looking like at this point, the delays that have happened, that's what's going to be delayed. And we'll see. Hopefully things stick from here on out.
Yeah. And I think for the next 2.5 weeks, we have Toronto and Venice and Telluride all happen. So there'll be stuff that we are not even expecting.
Sure.
Oh yeah, I remember they were making that movie and all of a sudden it's an audience front runner and oh wow, okay.
Yeah. Speaking of which, I only have one small indie on my list. A lot of them kind of, they pop out of nowhere and it's oh wow, I can't wait for that. But there was nothing that really jumped out at me while I was trying to make my list. But I'm sure there will be a lot of things that as the rest of the year goes on, I'm going to be oh yeah, knock some of this big stuff off. Who cares?
Me too. Yeah. There's a couple I don't want to have to put this on the list because there's nothing here, but luckily I found enough to where I don't have to pretend I'm super pumped for Exorcist Believer.
Oh God.
I know. I'm I feel bad saying that. I'm because I love The Exorcist and we just saw William Friedkin, but I didn't like the Halloween reboot at all. And
yeah.
This is gonna be more of the same, I guess, and I don't care.
It looks so bad.
I know. Damn it, David Gordon Green McBride. Why? This is I get it, but you could be doing better things.
Yeah, for sure.
But okay, we're gonna give our list of 10 movies. Starting now, Dave. What was your first pick?
All right, my number 10 is the indie I was talking about. It's called Good Boy.
Oh,
Yeah, comes out limited release 9/8. I'm not sure when it's going wide, but this one looks really, really weird. About uh, a a couple, like a newly couple that start dating, and it turns out that the one has somebody living with them who is just all the time living as a dog.
Hmm.
And it looks insane. And I don't know what to make of it. I'm not even sure of the tone necessarily, but when I heard that synopsis, I was like, yeah, I'm down.
Okay, and who's the director on this one?
You know what? That's a good question. I did not write it down. It's foreign.
I was gonna
I had,
say.
yeah, I had not heard of the director, so
I was like, does Yorgos have a brother?
right. It definitely sounds like something like that. God, I don't even know if I'd be able to pronounce the director's name. It's got like one of those O's with a slash through it. So,
Oh,
yeah, but
some Scandinavian shit.
yeah, something like that. But yeah, I'm excited though. I'm excited for this one. It looks really messed up.
Okay, man, that's a great start. I was not prepared for that, and I love it.
All
Because that
right.
one's obviously not on my list, so we're not going to cross that much. My number 10, just because we haven't seen anything from it, but just sight unseen premise, actors and directors I'm in. The Bike Riders. This is
Mm,
Jeff Nichols' first movie since Loving. It's got Austin Butler, Tom Hardy, Boyd Holbrook, who is crushing it on Justified City Primeval right now.
nice.
Yeah, so I'm like, a cool man, I'm in. Like, it's about a 50s biker gang. That's all I need to know.
Absolutely. I will just say that the Bike Riders makes an appearance higher up on my list.
I know. I just had to go with this one just because there's like no footage. So I'm like, well, like I can't get excited about something I haven't seen, but I'm like, I'm hyped for this. Don't get me wrong.
Absolutely.
What's your number 9?
Number 9 is Napoleon, the new Ridley Scott film. Will be
Also
out.
on the list.
Yeah, Thanksgiving weekends. Joaquin Phoenix, Vanessa Kirby.
Woo.
It's going to be awesome. I mean, Ridley Scott has been on a roll lately. You know, even his bad stuff is great. And
Mm-hmm.
like I don't know how you could not be excited for it. I love the posters. I love how it has that like almost punk rock font
Mm-hmm.
for some reason. I'm just like, what exactly is going on with this movie? I don't even particularly think the trailer looks that good, but it's Ridley Scott, and I can't wait.
Yeah, it's kind of amazing that like at his age he can just do like epic battle scenes in his sleep.
Yeah, yeah,
Because like Last Duel, it's like, yeah, we're just gonna open with a huge battle in the middle of a field. Why not?
yeah.
Like,
Let's do it.
he can just do these at will, and it's insane. And yeah, Joaquin Phoenix looks like he's game. Vanessa Kirby looks like she's got a lot to do. Like, she's not just going to be like the wife.
Mhm.
And it doesn't seem like it's going to just be a straight like womb to tomb story.
Right.
And I'm very curious what Ridley Scott has to say, because he is a very much anti-aristocracy filmmaker.
Sure. Yeah.
Like I would say the vast majority of his films are about like taking down a structural norm. So I want to see what his Napoleon take is.
Yeah, absolutely. I feel like it's gonna like feel in a piece with the Last Duel. It's gonna be like almost like maybe there'll be some kind of like unofficial trilogy kind of thing going on once he we'll see what he does next. But
Has he announced anything yet or no? Probably not.
I don't think so. Yeah, I don't think so.
Okay, yeah, Napoleon was like 8 on my list. I'm excited for this, and it's theaters, and then later, like a month later on Apple, right?
I believe so. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good for Apple. Like, they hit that, and another movie that's going to be on our list. Okay, what's your number 8?
Number 8 might be controversial pick here, but let's go with Zack Snyder's Rebel Moon.
No.
I don't tend to love Zack Snyder's work, but I'm always excited for Zack Snyder's work. I think that he makes stuff that is so, I mean, they throw the word visionary around all the time. I think it fits for Zack Snyder, and whether his movies are fully successful, that's another story, but it's always interesting to see what he's going to do. And this being his own, I'm going to use air quotes since everyone's listening here, but original idea. It looks like a million other things, but it is his own original idea from the ground up. And so I'm really curious to see what he comes up with this.
My thing with that, like, yeah, I don't care if it looks derivative of other things. Like, you can point to anything that look even that we like that you can think, oh, that was easily they saw Star Wars, like, or oh, they saw this.
Yeah,
That's okay. I mean, that's what your podcast is all about,
of
actually.
course. Yep.
That's gonna be a puzzle piece goldmine for you, I imagine.
Oh yeah,
But
he just said that Brazil is a literal inspiration for the film. So I'm calling dibs on that one already.
my one like thing with the Zack Snyder original is Sucker Punch.
Mhm.
Like, I think that's the last time he made an original film, and I'm like, okay, like I see what your influences are, but like this is more of a video game than a movie.
Yeah.
Like, so I don't know, maybe he breaks out of that. Maybe the Netflix of it all is more emboldening to him. Like, actually, wait, was what's it called? The Army of the Dead, or is that original or is that based on something?
Oh, that's a good question. I'm not sure because I know they made a comic, but I think that was his thing too, like as part
Okay.
of it. So like I don't think that really would count as an adaptation.
No.
So yeah, I guess it is original and it was terrible. So
That's where I'm like, I feel like with him, we keep waiting for like, okay, like with the Nolan thing where it's like, okay, he's done his like genre stuff. Now he's like, really taking all those tools and putting them to something, bigger. And he just doesn't, which is
yeah.
both fine, but also like the visionary thing, I think is a little bit, overrated on that.
Yeah, maybe.
But hey,
maybe.
it's your list. My next one, I'm gonna go with it's a little lower on my list than I thought, but Bradley Cooper's Maestro.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's one of those we've been waiting for this one for a while. We've been waiting to see something more than a still of him and the old man makeup. And like saw the trailer and I'm like, this looks okay. Like I'm hoping there's like more to this. Like I know it's just a teaser, but like I want to know what Scorsese and Spielberg both were like gaga over as far as like the story. Like it just looks like a standard biopic that's just going to be scored really well and acted really well.
Yeah, I don't know what to think. It does make an appearance up my list, and I'll talk about it more once we get to it. But yeah, the teaser definitely doesn't do that much for it. But just the fact that A Star Is Born was so good and Bradley Cooper directing again, I mean, if nothing else, that should get everybody excited.
You're exactly right. I'm just like, I want to see a little bit more, but like, I'm sure we'll find out soon enough because it's having its big premiere at Venice, I think, in about a month.
Yeah.
So by then we'll know, like, okay, actually, this is more than just like a biopic about Leonard Bernstein and his like torrid relationship with his wife.
Yeah, absolutely.
What you got next?
Another biopic. We are going with Michael Mann's Ferrari.
Yeah, this one's a lot higher on my list, but yeah.
Nice. Yeah. Another one that we haven't really seen much of yet. We've got that still of Adam Driver, but other than that, we haven't really seen much. We did get that quote that there's some like insane violence in it as well, but
car crash specifically.
Yeah. Yep.
Like, okay.
I am not a car guy, but I like Michael Mann and I like the cast, so I'm in.
Michael Mann with cars is usually a good bet. I mean, Collateral, he's got some good car shit. Like there's like a Miami Vice.
Sure.
I mean, that's more boat, but he can film a vehicle.
Yeah.
And it's his first movie since Black Hat, so I'm very curious to see because he's been building to this one for a while. And Neon picked it up, so I'm like, I don't know if they're just doing it because it's like, hey, we got a Michael Mann movie, or like they mean business because Neon doesn't usually throw a lot of money around. So if they pick something up, they must really believe in it,
Yeah, it's an interesting pairing for sure.
Yeah, they usually have a pretty good barometer as far as taste goes.
Mm-hmm.
Give or take a triangle of sadness, but I understand the calculus there.
Triangle of sadness rules.
I just couldn't get there, man. I'm like, it's one of those like I'm watching, like I get it. Like I just wanted something a little more. I don't know what, but like it just kind of it fell flat for me.
I loved it, but it did not belong in the Oscars. That's what I'll say.
Well, there's always going to be the one international. Like that branch is really strong, so that every year one person's going to get in it. That we're like, are we sure? But okay,
what are we doing?
All right, my next one is Gareth Edwards, the creator.
Nice.
I'm a huge Gareth Edwards guy. I bought in big with Monsters, and I loved his Godzilla movie. He is one of the rare action directors that has a sense of scale. Like Rogue One is a good demonstrator of that. Godzilla really shows that, and he hasn't made a movie in a long, long time. And this one, it's an original sci-fi story. I mean, I'm sure this is another puzzle piece galore for you.
Sure.
Because I can see 100 different things that he's drawing from, but the visuals look really cool. John David Washington, I'm a huge fan of, and I just like the vibe. Like I'm into this, and I'm sure he's going to deliver some really awesome set pieces.
Yeah, I think so too. This probably would have been my number 11. Like, it didn't make my list, but it does have a great trailer. And the one thing that I will say about it is, like, not counting Rebel Moon, because it's really mainly just going to be on Netflix. Like, this is like the only big theatrical action thing we're getting the rest of the year, it feels like. I mean, there's the Marvels, and I don't know, there might be another superhero thing. Is there? I don't think so.
No, Aquaman's still sticking around in December.
Yeah,
but we haven't seen anything for that, which I was like, I would have thought by Blue Beetle we'd have gotten a teaser at least.
I don't believe that it's happening. Quite
well,
frankly.
It's like they moved Dune, so I'm like, okay, and they're like, no. They said no, we're keeping Wonka and we're keeping Aquaman in December. Well, we promise, and Color Purple. Like we're
crazy.
A big Warner Brothers December since there's no Dune.
It's crazy. So yeah, I mean, the creator is like the big action moment of the rest of the year. So hopefully it's good.
Yeah, I hope so. And I really want to, if it is, I want to see what else he gets to do, because it's been way too long since he's made a movie, and he's a really talented director. I know the Rogue One stuff like kind of bogged him down, but like I don't think it was like as much of him getting fired as people think.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Like I'm wondering if he just needed a breather after being in the Star Wars machine. What's your next one?
Number 6. A little movie called Killers of the Flower Moon by a guy named Martin Scorsese.
Yeah, buddy.
Oh, I can't wait. It looks so good.
I know.
The cast is incredible.
It's been on our list for since we started doing these. Like, I realized, like, it's something that we're finally getting to cross this one off. Like, I've been progressively crossed Asteroid City off the list finally. Pinocchio off finally. Yeah. I'm like, cool. We can finally not stop talking about Killers of the Flower Moon and just see it already.
Yep. Finally. Hopefully this opens in theaters and more of a full release. I know it's supposed to, but I don't know if it's limited or not.
No, they're going big. I think it's October, isn't it? Like, I think it's because it's the closing night movie at the New York Film Festival in like late September or early October, whichever it falls, and then it's like the big premiere. Like, it's going to go wide. Well,
I have no doubt that it's going to be awesome. I can't wait.
I mean, the word on the street after, because it was at Cannes, was pretty positive. And the one not surprising, but just like, oh, that's interesting, is that De Niro is like the big acting performance. Like, him and Lily Gladstone are the two. They're like, hey, watch out for De Niro.
That is surprising, actually, because it seems like everything was around the other two, DiCaprio and Jesse Plemons. But
Jesse Plemons' character like is more prominent in the book, but like in the movie, it's more like he shows up in the third act. Because like the book is more the procedural, like who committed these murders kind of thing, whereas the movie, Scorsese, like, I wanted to tell a different story because there's like way more meat on this bone than just like your standard procedural and how the FBI got created. Which is sort of the premise of the book, but he found something else. So hey, good for Plemons though.
Absolutely,
his second Scorsese.
Yeah, and he was so good in The Irishman.
He's so fun in The Irishman. And I'm glad it's like De Niro still got his fastball, you guys. You just wait. He's like a menacing piece of shit. And I'm like, cool. We haven't seen that in a while, actually.
Oh, yeah.
Like, when you think about it, like, when's the last time there's been like pure De Niro villain?
Yeah, no, it's been a long time. I'm not even sure, to be honest.
Maybe. What's the movie? Godsend, where he's the doctor, but I don't know if that's like Total Malevolence even. Remember Godsend? Where like the couple quit.
Saw that.
Nobody did, but I just remember it was one of those, like, the ads would run all the time on TV. You know, like, oh, okay, like he brings back their son, and it's like, no, but he's not your son. It's like, that's
right. That's right. What about Rocky and Bullwinkle? That's Nero in villain mode, right?
He was fearless leader in that. I think technically he winds up being the bad guy in Hide and Seek. Remember Hide and Seek?
There we go. I think I might be mixing up hide and seek and the movie you were just talking about, but I
No,
don't
no.
know.
Godson, yeah, he's a doctor, and like the kid dies, and like the parent, like, he's like, I have a procedure, we can bring him back, and then it's like, but I gotta warn you, he won't entirely be your son. And
What a
hide and seek's
weird
one of
career. Just so many random different like side roads he's done.
he's he said, I got bills to pay, like,
Yeah.
I have a couple of restaurants, and I have expenses at home, like, it happens.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, I get it. my next one is The Iron Claw. It's from the filmmaker who did Marcy May Marlene.
Okay.
He does not work very often. I forget. I'm off the hand. I don't have his name next to me. I apologize. But it's a movie it's with Zac Efron. It's about the Von Erich wrestling family.
Right.
And like, because that family is they're considered like a cursed family, because like tragedy has befallen a plethora of Von Erichs.
Yeah.
And there's been no footage for this one. I think it's a Toronto movie, but I'm very excited for it because like I'm a sucker for a good wrestling drama.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I'm a huge fan of the show Heels on Stars. Like, that's how much
Yeah.
and this is and if it's one of those, like, if you only make a movie like once like a decade basically, and you pick this, I want to see why, because I really like Martha Marcy May Marlene.
Sure, it's a great movie.
Yeah, Elizabeth Olsen should have been nominated for it, but that was a wonky year.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I forgot about this movie, honestly, when making my list. It does sound really good. Maybe throw it on my honorable mentions list as an extra.
Yeah, and I want to see what Efron does, because I'm like, there's something there. Like, I know he could probably pull this off, and I'm sure it's going to be really well made, and the wrestling scenes are going to be really well choreographed.
For sure.
What's next on your list?
Number 5 is a movie that I had removed from my list because I thought it was delayed till next year. But then when I was researching, I found out it was only delayed till December. So I'm really excited we still get it this year. Yorgos Lanthimos, Poor Things, with a ridiculous cast. Emma Stone, Willem Dafoe, Mark Ruffalo, Christopher Abbott, Margaret Qualley. It just sounds so good. It looks so weird. I don't know too much about it. I just know that I've loved everything Yorgos has done, and I'm in 100%.
Yeah, and it looks like him doing his version of Frankenstein by way of Coppola's Dracula.
Sure.
Just the way like the background looks like it's an old movie, like done on a soundstage. And I'm really glad Emma Stone sort of bought into the Yorgos of it all. Mm-hmm. Like, it seems like he seems like a wagon she's hitching herself to, and that's a great move.
Yeah, for sure.
While she does like other normal Emma Stone stuff, she has like her indie person she can go to.
Yeah, absolutely. We also get a Sanctuary reunion with this one with Christopher Abbott and Margaret Qualley. They were both fantastic in that earlier this year.
And Defoe, man, he looks like he's having the time of his life. I mean, he always does, but like, this is one of those, I'm like, oh, he must have like been dying to do this.
Yeah, for sure.
Like, it's 100% in his wheelhouse. That was on my list, so I won't include it. My next one, though, is another one that I didn't think we were getting ever, because it just kept getting punted and punted and punted and punted. But it's finally premiering at Toronto. I believe it's going to be coming out in theaters in November, I think November or December, actually. It's Taika Waititi's Next Goal Wins.
Yeah.
I've been waiting for this one forever. We finally got the trailer, and I'm like, oh, this is exactly the movie I want. Like, this is what I wanted it to be. It's your normal sports movie. Michael Fassbender is a disgraced coach. He has to coach American Samoa, who had the longest losing streak in world soccer, and lost a game where they lost like 50-0 or whatever. And he's like a drunk, and he has to go there and build him into shape, and they end up fixing him while he fixes the team. Like, it looks like your typical sports movie, but like, it's got that Taika flavor that people forget exists.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I was talking about this with a friend last night. I'm like, I know Thor Love and Thunder wasn't, the best. I enjoyed it more than most, but like, I don't think it was a war crime. Nor was like, when did the worm turned her on Jojo Rabbit? I'm like, I don't understand why. Like, Jojo's actually a good movie. Like, I defend it.
Yeah. Jojo Rabbit was fun. And I still love Ragnarok, but Love and Thunder might actually be a war crime. It's that bad.
I also think that's more of a Chapek problem, because he capped it at 2 hours, and I'm like, if that movie had 15 minutes more to merit with like certain stuff, like, it would have been better. I understand. Don't get me wrong. I understand the complaints, but I'm like, I don't think that's enough to make him like, oh, fuck this guy. I don't want him to do anything. Like, Like,
It was more
okay,
the behind the scenes stuff. All those like Twitter videos they posted, they were just like so
I know.
cringy.
I know, man. I get it. Like he can be a lot, and he's
Yeah.
definitely in heat check mode, like post Oscar. But this seems like more of like what people wanted from him.
Free
Like,
Guy also hurt his like
yeah,
reputation too. Like
I know.
he's the worst in that movie. It's just
He
unbelievable.
with him, it's one of those. I just wonder, like, because he seems like he's a workaholic. Like in every interview he's given, it's been a lot of like, yeah, I really need to like slow down. Like I know, but like I got the success so late, and I just don't want to like lose it. I'm like, okay, and like he stretched himself thin,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
like. And he has an acting part in this, but it doesn't seem like he's not the star. He's like a third, fourth character.
Sure. Yeah.
That's good. And I like him on Our Flag Means Death. Like that was a good use of him that not enough people saw, but I'm glad it's season 2 comes out in October, I believe.
Right on. Right
so
on.
like I'm hoping this is like a rehabilitation for him, and it's not like, oh fuck this guy, because it's a bummer. He is actually a really good filmmaker.
Yeah, for sure. And I will say I being negative about Taika, but like it is a funny trailer, and Michael Fassbender rules. So hopefully it's good.
And he's going to show up on one of our lists, I'm sure, if not both. Which number 4?
So I got to say, I was just looking at my list, and somehow I screwed up. I have 9 movies, so let's just say The Creator as number 4 because I already agreed with you. I said it was like my number 11, so let's make that number 4. Screw it.
Okay. Well, I'm just going to slot in The Killer since we're on the Fassbender train.
Yeah, that's my next one too.
So, Fincher, baby. I don't even care that it's Netflix. I can put that aside. I'm just really happy Fincher's found a home that'll just let him do what he wants. And Fassbender, he hasn't made a movie in a long time. I mean, technically he made Next Goal Wins and that just got delayed forever, but like he really hasn't done a movie for a while.
Yeah.
And it's an adaptation of it's a graphic novel, right?
Yes.
But like it's not like comic booky. It's like just about a serial killer, and Fincher doing serial killers usually results in good shit.
Seriously, and
he's
like
3-0,
and he hasn't done like just a straight up movie other than Mank in a while, right?
No.
And Mank is like its own thing. I mean, Mank is so specifically its own thing. It's like I almost don't count it. Like
no, so yeah, it was more. I'd seen more of like a love letter than a movie. Like I wasn't as high on Mank as a lot of people, but like I understand why he made it.
Yeah. God, I mean, Mindhunter is, it is what it is, but he hasn't made a feature since Gone Girl, which was 2014. So
9 years. I mean, if you want to count 9 years with an asterisk, 3 years legally, but like, yeah, I see what your point. Like, and I haven't even seen a trailer for this really. There's just that teaser.
Right.
And I don't care. Like I'm dying to see it. I think it's a Venice movie, if I'm not mistaken. So we'll know in about a month, and then it shows up on Netflix late October, I think, right?
That sounds right. Yep. I can't wait. Yeah. Actually, I have November 10th as the release. I don't know if it got delayed.
No. I think it's what it is. They're doing it's the theater in October, and then it shows up on Netflix in November.
Gotcha.
That's what they're doing with Maestro too, because it's like they're putting that around Thanksgiving, like that holiday weekend, then it shows up on Christmas on Netflix.
Well, shout out to Netflix if they actually put these things in theaters. I'll give them props for that.
Dude, that their Glass Onion thing made me so mad because like did you see Glass Onion in theaters?
I got to at a press screening.
Me too. Yeah. I got to see it. We went on Thanksgiving. Because like we didn't have our daughter or we didn't have the kids, so like we went on Thanksgiving to see it, and like guess what, our theater ate that up, man. Like who knew? Like who knew if you put in every reveal, every like joke, just played like gangbusters to a fairly crowded theater for Thanksgiving Day, and then all of a sudden it's just gone.
Yeah,
like
just gone.
Who knew, David? If you put something in theaters and people enjoy it, it might make money.
Imagine that.
Imagine that. What you got next?
All right. Well, I also have The Killer at my number 3, so that's where I'm at.
All right. My number 3 is Disney's Wish. Actually, I'm a huge Disney person, and it's their 100th anniversary movie. And this looks really like they're doing the musical, but the animation is like half computer, half pen and ink. Like you can the background is like hand drawn animation style. It's a musical, and Chris Pine is playing their first true blue Disney villain since Tangled, I want to say.
Interesting. Okay.
he's an evil sorcerer and he gets to sing, which, when Chris Pine sings, good things happen.
Oh yeah, Wet Hot American Summer, the series.
Mm-hmm. I mean, say what you want about Into the Woods, but he's good in it.
Yeah.
And Ariana DeBose is the lead. I really like her. I'm glad, this is technically her first big at bat since winning the Oscar, give or take Westworld.
Yeah.
So she seems like she's going to be primed for as a Disney princess. I have a feeling the sounds are going to be absolutely great. And it's going to be, I don't know if it'll hit Frozen numbers, but it'll definitely be bigger than Encanto, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Especially because there's going to be fuck all for kids in theaters. I mean, you'll have Trolls, the third Trolls movie, which I will be seeing, whether I like it or not. But other than that, it's kind of a barren wasteland, actually. Like, there isn't much for younger audiences, and this thing's I think if it's good, if it's as good as like the trailers make it seem to be, it's gonna play like gangbusters. And then you get Alan Tudyk doing another animal, and he's so good at that.
There you go. Right on. Yeah, this movie, it's not really on my radar that much, and I guess just this genre, it's not really my thing. But like once it comes out and like the buzz starts with it, if it seems like it's one of the really really exciting ones, I will definitely go see it. So
like this definitely seems like this is where the narrative shifts for Disney animation. Because like Pixar, like Elemental, God bless it, like chugged along, and now like it's not a bomb anymore.
Yeah.
Like, it's like, hey, Pixar isn't dead. Pete Docter doesn't need to be ridden out on the Disneyland monorail. Yeah, there's something here. And then meanwhile, Disney animation this could be a similar thing. Like, hey, we did it. Like, you know what? We had a few bumps, but we're back, baby.
Yeah.
That's what I'm hoping for. Like, it really, because I like, Disney itself, we have our issues with, but I like Disney animation by and large. And if they're giving us a real proper Disney villain again, that isn't a twist or just a misguided person that gets.
Sure.
That's been sort of the back. It's either the John Lasseter, oh, just kidding, this person was actually the bad guy, or it's they're a villain, but not really. Like, it's circumstances more the villain than anything else. Like Encanto, that's how that kind of is.
Sure.
Like there just isn't a villain, period.
Yeah.
But this one looks like, mustache twirling villain who's going to have a really killer song or two.
That's exciting. That does sound good. You're selling this movie to me.
Exactly. It's going to hit on all the nostalgia points. And look, I'm excited for it. Like, I'm sure my daughter's excited for it, so I'm in. What's your number 2?
Number 2 is Maestro, which you brought up already, but I will just add Bradley Cooper is so good, and I want to see him just go all in on this thing. I honestly am going to have to do a little crash course in Leonard Bernstein. Like, I'm not as familiar as I should be, especially as a composer, with all of his work. So I'm going to have to just have myself a little crash course before the movie comes out. But I'm sure, I have no doubt that this is going to be a worthy follow-up to A Star is Born.
I'm hoping. It's just one of those. There was like, that's, how like sometimes you see a teaser, like, oh, I get what this is. Like, I'm in. It was just like that element. It was more like, I don't want to show you a whole lot. Like, we're just going to show you like them, like how the makeup's going to look.
Yeah.
Like that's
which they definitely did. They definitely did.
Yeah. And like, if it does win Best Makeup at the Oscars, he's probably winning Best Actor. Like
yeah.
That worked for Fraser. It worked for a couple other people. Where it's like that's sort of your pathway. So I'm like, I wonder, but it looks like a solid follow up directorially.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, my number 2 is Alexander Payne's The Holdovers.
Yeah, I was thinking about this one too. I haven't seen anything though. Is there a trailer yet?
You haven't seen the trailer?
I have not. No.
Okay, David. Here's just the format of the trailer itself. I'm like, oh yeah. Payne knows what he's doing. It's done like a 70s trailer. Mm-hmm. Like they use a 70s Focus Features style logo.
Nice.
And it's like a sort of like a Don LaFontaine voiceover.
Oh boy.
Like they call it, the kids that don't go home at this prep school are called the holdovers. Like it's like that. Nice. Like there's freeze frames. Like it looks like a trailer from the 70s, and that's when this movie takes place. It's Paul Giamatti back with Alexander Payne. So yes.
Hell yeah.
That should have been Giamatti's Oscar. Sorry, Jamie Foxx. I mean, he wasn't nominated, so I can't really be that upset. But whatever. Sure. But no, he's a sad sack professor who has to look after an orphan boy that's at a prep school on Christmas. And then Divine Joy Randolph is the only other person at the school. I think she's the school nurse, and she's with them, and it's the three of them learning to bond over the holidays. Like, it's a simple premise, but I'm like, man, if he hits it, and he didn't write this one, which was also very curious.
Huh? Yeah.
I forget who did, but I'm like, it looks great. The trailer itself was like, that's what I wanted from Maestro. Like, I want to know like what this movie is, and I want there to be like some flourish to it. This looks like it's going for 70s vibe.
Awesome. That sounds great. I'm gonna have to watch the trailer as soon as we're done recording. Honestly.
I actually got that when we had it during my screening of Oppenheimer.
Oh wow.
Yeah, you haven't gotten it, huh?
No, I've not seen it yet.
Okay, it looks cool. Like, it looks really funny. It looks really sad, but it looks really sweet. Like, Giamatti looks like he's got his fastball on this.
Hell yeah.
Like,
I love him. He's so good.
Too. Yeah, like, this isn't like over the top like Billions Giamatti. This is sideways Giamatti.
Nice.
All right, what is your number one?
Number one, you brought it up earlier, but Jeff Nichols is back.
Woo!
Bike riders. And here's the thing. I don't even like motorcycles. Like, I'm not a motorcycle guy, but it's Jeff Nichols, and he hasn't done anything in a long time, and we're way overdue. And I've pretty much loved everything he's done. So I am very, very excited to see what he's cooked up this time around. And it's the thing I'm looking forward to the most.
What a
December
cast.
1st. Great cast.
Yeah, man. I'm like, good for Austin Butler. Like, this was supposed to be like his real big. I mean, Elvis was the coming out party, but this was supposed to be like the victory lap. I'm ascending is to stardom because he has Dune as well, but that's okay. Like, we still have this, and there's a lot to love, even though we haven't seen like one frame of footage, just like the one still of them, like kind of from afar.
Right.
But it's him doing like the Wild Bunch, which hell yeah. Like, Jeff Nichols is someone who I wish was making more stuff. I know he was trying to do an Alien Nation thing, but like that didn't work out. And then just, I don't know, like I probably just got delayed to stuff because of the pandemic and various entities shuffling. So
wasn't he attached for a while to do a spinoff of A Quiet Place?
Yes, I think he was hired to do it, and then at the last minute did not. And I forget who took that over, but that's the Lupita one, right?
I'm not sure. I just know that he was supposed to do one, and like that's probably what kept him like tied up these last couple of years, I'm guessing.
But the good thing for him, he can, if he's like back, he can crank out movies pretty quick. I mean, he had Loving and Midnight Special in the same year before he disappeared, and then Mud was like right before that, and so on. Like he works at a pretty good clip when he can. So I'm very happy to have him back.
Absolutely.
And then my number one is Killers of the Flower Moon. It's been number one or number two for years now, but we can finally put it off the list. But the trailer looked incredible. Both of them did. Leo and Scorsese, you can never go wrong.
Yeah.
Like I honestly really, I don't think it'll happen. Like, it won't put up it won't put up Oppenheimer numbers, but like, I'm hoping this is like a big enough hit just because of the Leo of it all. Cause he's still like one of a handful of people that can will a movie to over $100 million. Like,
right.
The Revenant made over $100 million, and I'm sure that wasn't because of Inarritu.
Right.
Like, and I'm sure if Don't Look Up had made it to theaters, it would have cracked $100 million.
Yeah.
Like,
I think this is going to be the movie with like the most buzz around it, for the rest of the year. So, I mean, it's certainly possible. And, like you said, it's not going to do Oppenheimer numbers, but the fact that Oppenheimer did as well as it did, maybe is a sign that more people want adult movies. So,
and because it could have been just like, oh, Oppenheimer's a fad because like it hitched their ride to Barbie, but like you don't have those kind of legs if your movie isn't good and if people aren't responding to it.
Yeah.
Like that's, you can get maybe 1-2 weekends out of like a social media thing, but clearly people are digging it. Like when I saw it, like I saw it in the third week, and my theater was still packed. Everyone was still into it.
Yeah.
Like nobody walked out because there wasn't more explosions, which was nice. It was like, oh, like they were like a couple of people hissed at Downey at the right parts. I'm like, yeah. Like, we're doing this, man.
And
all different demos too. Like my friend's brother just turned 21. He was into Oppenheimer. I'm like, yeah, all right.
Hell
like,
yeah.
It isn't just a dad movie.
Hell yeah.
But Flower Moon, I have a feeling, could be the same way. And De Niro, Leo, Lily Gladstone, I think is going to blow up really hard from this. and it just looks incredible. Like, just visually looks incredible.
Yeah, for sure.
Like, we did it. We finally got a new Scorsese, and I'm hoping it isn't long before we have to get another one.
He's probably already in development, I'm sure.
I'm like 2 or 3 things. I'm sure as well. And like I mentioned earlier, he and Spielberg are producers on Maestro.
Yeah, that's true. I do wonder though if he's going to be able to get another ridiculously large budget for whatever he does next. Not that he needs it, but
I think if this hits enough, Apple will be like, fuck it, like we're Apple, like even if we buy ESPN or something, we're gonna be okay. We can give Scorsese money because if it hits in theaters and doesn't a big enough number, it's like, okay, well, let's see what else you got.
Yeah, absolutely.
What other books are you trying to develop? What other biopics you got?
Yeah,
or whatever. Like they still seem like they're interested in doing big stuff. Like, if Napoleon hits too, I'm sure they'll be like, hey, Ridley, do you just want to like partner on this?
That could be a great 1-2 punch if those two both actually hit. That would be awesome.
Yeah, with Villeneuve being out of like the director's race for the Oscars, I'm like, this is going to be very fun because it's Nolan and Scorsese you can almost pencil in. Then I'm like, ooh, does Ridley Scott like sneak in because Napoleon's a big enough hit? Does Michael Mann? Gerwig could, like, there's like the whole bunch of stuff.
Absolutely.
Were there any ones you're like, I kind of want to put on my list, but like we'll see what the word on the street is?
There's a movie, it did come up earlier in our conversation, but it is the movie that definitely would have been on my list, except for I don't believe it's really happening, and that is Aquaman 2. The Lost Kingdom, I think. But
Lost Kingdom.
It was on my list last year, and of course it was delayed. There's not a shred of information or trailer or footage or anything. There's no way this movie is coming out. I do not believe it. It's so weird, man. It's so strange. I don't know.
There were like 4 big points you could have done it. You could have done it with The Flash because it's a DC thing. You could have done it with Barbie because it's a big Warner Brothers thing. You could have done it with just Momoa hosting Shark Week, which I'm like, I thought that's where this was headed. Like at the end, you're getting your first teaser at Aquaman or Blue Beetle. I'm like, nope, nothing, not zilch.
Yeah,
I'm stunned. I would have thought that they would have put something up now because you already got Wonka, which is the same month, and you already got a trailer for The Color Purple, which is the same month.
Yeah,
which that's an honorable mention for me too, actually. I feel bad for not mentioning it earlier, but that looks good too. I don't know how it translated to a musical. I haven't seen the actual movie in a long time, but I'm going to be doing a massive Spielberg rewatch because I have all the DVDs now.
Yeah.
So I forget if it's good, but like I know the musical people seem to really like it and I like the performers in it.
Right on. Yeah. Hopefully it's good. I hope so.
I'm trying to think. Is there anything else that I kind of like left off? I mean, the Marvels I'm into, but like I'm going to enjoy it. It's going to be like fine. It can either be fine or it could actually be pleasantly surprising. Like I like Nia DaCosta, so I want to see what she does because she said that she's like gotten to do stuff that like she's asked to do stuff for it that like isn't normally in the Marvel box. So I'm like, okay. And I like the actress who plays Kamala Khan. Like I like the Marvel show. Most of the Marvel show, but I like her performance in it was terrific. Like that's someone I'm like, you're a star. Like in another world, she would have been like in a lot of really good teen movies and then elevated. Like she's got a really great personality and charisma, and I like her vibe.
Yeah, no, I could see that. It's hard to get excited about that movie, to be honest.
I know. But I'm just saying for me, like I'm like, all right, I'll probably enjoy this. It'll be like a solid outing. Like I'm not going to complain.
Yeah, for sure.
I also forgot to mention like Dumb Money. I'm like half intrigued by, but I also don't like Craig Gillespie movies.
Yeah, like, some mix definitely, but I don't know. I'm looking forward to it.
I know. I'm like, it has all the pieces, but like that's what I felt about Pam and Tommy as well, and I couldn't get into that. I'm not an I, Tonya person.
Yeah.
It seems like all the pieces are there, and I know what pieces are in his movies, and I know what vibe he's going for. It just doesn't connect with me, and I don't know why. He gets a lot. I'm like, I want to see Dano's performance, especially because like Dano doesn't do comedy very often.
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay, cool, and like I've heard a lot of like America Ferrera buzz on it.
Yeah.
Which good for her. I'm excited. Like, she was great in Barbie. So I'm like, maybe, but I'm like, but also it's a Craig Gillespie movie. So I'm like, and it wants to be The Social Network mixed with like The Big Short. And I'm like, we've had a lot of those and none of them have like found the secret sauce that either of those movies had.
Yeah, it's a
I don't
tough
know
thing
why.
to replicate for sure.
Yeah, because like and I know it's from the same the author that wrote the book was the same one who wrote Accidental Billionaires, which Social Network is based on. But I'm like, I don't. None of you guys are Sorkin. It's like I don't, or even McKay. Will say
Yeah.
what you want, but like I don't know if either of you guys have that. I don't even have the juice to pull this off, but I want it to succeed because I like everybody in it.
For sure. Absolutely. I will say also, like with the writer's strike and delays due to that. I mean, it's kind of hard to say some of the smaller films that are getting delayed that they might just get delayed till December, in which case they're still a 2023 release. I was thinking of that Problemista, the A24 film. That looks so good. I don't know if it's delayed to December or if it's all the way into 2024. I'm not sure. Also Priscilla looks really good. So it's hard to say. It's hard to say with these.
Actually, I think that's showing up at New York and Venice, I think. So we'll know very soon.
Cool.
That's another Apple, isn't it?
I think so.
Because she did that On the Rocks, and that was with Apple. So I think like they're quietly building and like they're doing what Netflix and Amazon did like 10 years ago.
Yeah,
and it was sort of abdicated.
Yeah.
That Foe. Oh yeah, speaking of Amazon, they dropped the trailer for Foe, and I'm like, that looks interesting.
Yeah. A lot of people are really excited about that. And I mean, technically, at the time of recording, Bottoms still isn't out, and I'm very excited for that. It's not. It's in limited release. They're expanding it over the next like 2 or 3 weeks. It's not in Vegas yet. So I'm looking forward to that. And another thing that's very soon, although it's always hard to tell with these movies. The Nun 2.
I forgot to mention that friend of the show, Kayla Cooper.
Cooper. Yeah.
Yep.
Absolutely. So with her involvement, I'm very hopeful that the Nun 2 understands how ridiculous the Nun 1 was. Because,
I mean, you saw the trailer.
Yeah, it looks like they're really playing it to the vest. Like you can't tell. Like, does this realize that this is silly or not? It's hard to tell with the trailers for these.
The magazine bit, I'm like, I can't talk to her about it like on the show because she can't promote it. But like, I'm like magazine bit. That's fucking cool.
Yeah. So I hope it knows how silly the first Nun was and it runs with that. If it's just trying to be another Conjuring movie, then I don't know, but we'll see. I'm looking forward to it.
I trust her because after Megan, I'm like, she knows what she's doing. Like,
yeah, exactly.
And I'm sure she put all of her like Rams angst into that movie, so it's all good. Nice. All right. Well, aside from things you're looking forward to, what are some good things you've seen lately?
Oh boy, what have I seen lately? That's always the hardest question. Even on my show, I never know what to say when people ask me what have I seen lately. I mean, I liked Blue Beetle. I thought it was fun.
It's cute. My wife really loved it because she got like all the references. Like when they Annalita and the Labario, she's like cracking up. I'm like, what? She's like, yeah, you don't understand. Like I've seen like all those like the novellas like that the girl's been in. Oh my god! Like okay, cool.
Yeah. So it was fun. I loved Strays. I loved Meg too.
Strays was good.
Oh yeah, it's great if you go in wanting a movie where dogs say fuck a lot. Like if that's the movie you want, it's that movie. That
is the movie I wanted. That's exactly what I wanted.
Then you'll enjoy it. I don't see what people wanted out of it other than that. And one other movie I will mention is Landscape with Invisible Hand, the new Corey Finley film.
Ooh.
Which Bad Education and Thoroughbreds were two of my favorite movies of the years that they came out. This won't make my top 10. I will say it's too out there and too weird for that, but it's definitely really interesting, and I haven't stopped thinking about it since I watched it.
Bad Education that's the Hugh Jackman one, right?
Yeah.
Okay, that Bad Education. Okay, just want to make sure. I was like, I don't want to be stupid and think it's like, oh yeah, the Hugh Jackman movie. And it's like, no, not Bad Education. A different Bad Education.
So good.
Okay. I finally saw Asteroid City on Peacock.
Right on.
Because I really loved it. Like it's one of those that sat with me for a while. Like at first I was like, okay, like I liked this, but like, but then as I thought about it, I'm like, you know what? There's a lot of really good performance in this.
I am in the minority on Asteroid City. I did not love it. And I love Wes Anderson. But it's probably towards the bottom for me of his movies.
It took a minute for me to like adjust to like the three different like not timelines, so the three different story threads. Like this is the play, this is the writing of the play, and this is like the performance of the play or whatever.
Right.
Like the nest, like once I got through the Russian nesting doll of it all, I'm like, okay, I'm digging this. And, like, I was really in it for the performances and the clock, like which new Wes Anderson people like were good at doing Wes Anderson stuff.
Sure. Yeah.
Like Hanks, I'm like, I want to see him with a bigger part. Like he could like not be a Royal Tenenbaum, but could do something like that.
He's great in it for sure.
Scarlett Johansson's got it down.
Mm-hmm.
Like she understands it. There's another. Oh, Margot Robbie was great. Like in her one scene, I'm like, holy shit.
Yeah.
Like, okay. Like you understand how to do Wes. Like it's not easy.
Yeah.
Like it's really not. Like some people just can't do it. Then you have Jeffrey Wright, who was like he was born to do it.
Oh yeah, he kills it. He's going to be in every Wes Anderson movie from now on, I think.
Good.
And he should be, definitely.
Yeah, no, good. I'm happy. And was there anything else I saw that I was like that? I mean, I caught up on a couple like Pearl. I finally saw The Whale. I finally saw, which I did not like The Whale. After Sun, I really liked. Yeah. Other than that, Blue Beetle, Barbie, and Oppenheimer are the three big things I saw in theaters that I really enjoyed.
Right on.
All right. Well, where can the good people find you, David?
Oh, they could find Piecing It Together on all the podcast apps and follow me on social media at Piecing Pod. And I just recently put out an album of songs about my dogs and cats. It's called The Pup Pups, and you can find that on streaming on my website, bydavidrosen.com. And I just started putting out some music videos from it. It's a very ridiculous but very fun little project for animal lovers.
Aw, that's awesome, man. And I'm sure you'll be back in like late December, early January to preview 2024. God help us.
Let's do it.
I don't know what 2024 will look like. I have no clue. It's going to be very strange because a lot of things either got moved or they're not finished. So no way, I'm looking at you. Not finished.
Yeah. Who the hell knows? We'll find out.
Exactly. You have yourself a wonderful weekend. I look forward to listening to your show. I love it every week. And you take care, sir, and hopefully we get some good movies this year.
Sounds like a plan. Thank you.
Take care.
I'm Josh Bell.
And I'm Jason Harris, and we co-host a podcast called Awesome Movie Year.
Each season, we take a look back at an awesome year for movies, which is every year.
We deep dive into these specific years, and we pick out why they were such great years for films. We go over the biggest hits, the biggest flops, the best picture, some personal picks, some cult classics.
Years we've covered in past seasons include 1994, 2003, 1977, and 1984, and we've got all of film history to look forward to. So check us out at awesomemovieyear.com or wherever you listen to podcasts.
All right, so I hope you enjoyed that conversation with Chauncey Telese over there on LA Podfidential. Again, make sure to follow LA Podfidential, subscribe to their podcast, great show. And while you're at it, make sure you're subscribed to Piecing It Together. We got a lot of episodes on the way, a whole bunch already recorded, and we will be recording more soon. And I'm sure we'll get Chauncey back on the show soon, too. I already told you about all the things to follow and the things to click on and the things to do at the top of the show, although we do have a Patreon, so don't forget about that. Produced by David Rosen Patreon. Lots of great content over there. But let's close this out with a piece of music, and we're talking about our most anticipated things of the rest of the year. So why don't I play something from my new album that will be coming out October 6th. And it is a film score album. This isn't one of my regular albums of specifically made for, listening to as an album songs, like individual songs. This is a score for a horror film called Blind Malice from director Chris Johnson. And I recently have been putting up Jacqueline on the Patreon as an exclusive, which is also a Chris Johnson film. And back in 2020, I released the score for Beater, which is also a Chris Johnson film. We've done a lot of stuff together. But this one felt like it definitely deserved its own full-fledged release. So I'm putting this one out just in time for the Halloween season. And lots of great creepy music on this thing. And it's going to be available October 6th. I'm really excited about it. I hope this will make all of your most anticipated releases of the fall 2023 season lists and things like that. But let's play a track from it. I'm going to play a track called She's Coming Part 2, which actually Part 1 is from the Daisy score. So I thought it would be a fun little Easter egg for anybody who follows all of these collaborations I've done with Chris Johnson. But this is She's Coming Part 2, again, from the film Blind Malice. Hope you enjoy it. It'll be out October 6th, and we'll be back with more Piecing It Together real soon.
An All Points West production, produced by David Rosen in Las Vegas.